I just wanted to take an opportunity to talk about a special plant we've got here, Comfrey plant, which you may have heard about. It's a magical plant with magical properties because it produces fertilizer. Because it has such deep roots that go deep into the ground, it's able to pull up nutrients and minerals deep from the subsoil that aren't available to plants that grow in the topsoil. As you can see, it's a very strong growing plant with big leaves and deep roots, and it's able to grow several times a year, producing several sets of leaves and flowers. So you can cut it, use it, cut it and use it several times, and it'll keep coming back once it's established. Now, one of the great things you can do with comfrey is you can make comfrey tea out of it, which is not as nice as it sounds actually. It's got a very distinctive smell to it, let's put it that way. What you can do is cut the leaves and the flowers down once the flowers are finished producing for the bees. You then put it in a bucket, add some cold water, put a lid on it, leave it for a few weeks. At the end of those few weeks you have this incredible liquid fertilizer that comes out the other end, which is very similar to the commercial products you buy in the shops, which of course cost money, but this is free. The amazing thing about this comfrey tea is it's a sort of instant feed plant for certain plants that require a bit of extra nutrition when they're growing. So it's particularly effective, I find, with things like tomatoes and courgettes, and anything really that's producing a lot of fruit that needs a lot of extra nutrition. And I've used it quite extensively this summer, and it's produced quite an impressive crop of cucumbers and courgettes. I'll just show you the courgette plants in a moment. Here's one I made earlier. So this is some comfrey soup we've had going for a while. There's a little moth there, sorry to disturb. Just give it a quick stir to get all the nutrients up. And there you can see remains of the old comfrey leaves rotting down in this rather, frankly, unappetising liquid in here. But this is just pure gold, this stuff. Now, some people do actually strain this stuff from the soup, but it's quite tricky to do because it's so viscous. So I just tend to pour it out into a little pot. Lovely, there you go. And here we have a watering can, normal tap water, get that in there. And we'll just go and feed that to the courgette plant, see if we can get it to grow a bit faster. Now the courgette plant seems to be doing quite well. It's got some yellow courgettes growing really well here on this side. It has a couple of quite large green courgettes growing there, so it's done really well, and a couple of extra flowers. Give it a good soak in plenty of water. These plants need plenty of water in the summer. We have this comfrey soup going on the courgette plant, and a bit extra for the yellow plant too. They're going to love that. All that extra nutrients. The comfrey soup, as I've been saying, it contains a lot of nitrogen, a bit of potassium, phosphorus. That's the KPN. The only thing it doesn't contain is magnesium. You may be able to get that from other sources, but it's almost a complete fertiliser. Got more than one comfrey plant. I've got about 3 or 4, keep them all in production at the same time. So you cut one down, another one grows. Just means you've got an endless supply of comfrey leaves, not just to make tea with. They're a really great compost ingredient. So if you layer them in with all the other compost ingredients, they add that extra bit of nutritional boost to the compost heap. And of course the worms absolutely love it. Here's number 3 comfrey plant, the really big one. She dug a very large hole for when we planted it a few years ago, but this has been cropped maybe about 20 or 30 times, just producing endless quantities of leaves. It's absolutely amazing. Here's comfrey plant number 4, or is it 5? I've lost count in all this excitement. This one's nearly ready to harvest, but I only planted it this year. I just want to leave it a little bit longer to gain its strength and grow its roots before I harvest it really heavily. That's number 6 comfrey plant, down at the bottom of the garden. It's a bit shady here for it, I think. Right, I'm just going to chop a few leaves of this comfrey plant. These flowers here more or less reach the end of their life. They're just going to seed now, so there won't be that much use to the bees. They won't miss them. Hopefully there'll be some more along soon they can feed off. leaves. You can see I'm wearing gloves for this because these plants are notoriously spiny. As you can see there, they've got these very sharp spines, so you do have to wear gloves. Make way for the Comfrey, here it comes. You need a bucket. Found this in a skip. You're amazed what you find in skips. Squash it up nice and tight. With the gloves on again. Use gloves for this. Push it in. Now, some people do actually go to the trouble of chopping the leaves up, but I don't think there's any real need to. They break down just as quickly like that. That's one ingredient. Bucket, Comfrey. Now we need water. Put it more or less right up to the top so it completely covers all of the stems, so they'll rot down quite quickly. I'll pop it in the corner over here. I just put that on top of it, keep everything off it, and leave for 2 weeks. Thirsty work all that Comfrey tea making, so I think I deserve a cup of tea. This time it's hibiscus tea, which is a bit more tasty. So let's talk a bit more about Comfrey. It's not just a great fertilizer and plant feed, it's also fantastically good for the environment because of course the big attraction is the bees, especially the bumblebees. They really seem to like Comfrey. It's one of their major sources of nectar and pollen, so by planting lots of Comfrey you're doing a real favour to all the bumblebees. I would say that almost every plot should have at least one Comfrey plant on it. And Comfrey is quite a strong growing plant, as I said, with very deep roots, and it grows very quickly. And it is worth bearing in mind that once you plant it, it's practically impossible to get rid of it from a spot because its roots are so deep. So do think carefully about where you plant it, because it will be there for several years. It doesn't tend to spread too much, fortunately, and the good news is the seeds don't seem to be viable. It's worth bearing in mind that there are different types of Comfrey. Ideally you want to get the Russian variety, which has the highest levels of nutrients. What I found is that you don't plant it directly because the slugs tend to get it. What I do is I put it in a nice big pot, some good soil, keep it well watered over a few months, and it grows into the pot quite quickly into a big plant. Once that's established, select a nice area, preferably in the sun, dig a sort of a fairly deep hole, break up the subsoil a bit to make it easier for the plant, and pop it in. Obviously it doesn't like too much competition from grass, so you can mulch it a little bit. And once that's got established, you've got an endless supply of Comfrey. If you need to get hold of Comfrey, just ask some of the more experienced gardeners, and they'll probably be able to tell you where to get it from. It seems to grow wild around here anyway.